Greetings, sending you some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body Culinary. Hope you are up early. Shout out to my early risers that your day's off to a great start. So, I have a question for you. Do you find that you have any challenges when it comes to hair and fashion? Right? Are you perhaps a person with very fine hair? Maybe perhaps you have a lot of acne and hyperpigmentation, as I have had. You find like you feel like a sense of anxiety around having to constantly spend more and more money, like constantly on clothing. Do you consider this challenging to your budget when it comes to maintaining a whole lot of clothes? I know at one point I felt like I was just paying for storage for all my stuff, and I was like, there's not that many days, only 365 days in a year, so there's no way I can wear all of this stuff. And at some point, I found it quite suffocating. And I was like, how could I just purchase something and I feel like I have nothing to wear? That never made sense to me. So grateful for information and access to more information on YouTube so I could learn more principles and elements of style, which actually saves me a lot of money. I'm a big proponent for coaches that shorten your learning curve. So today's conversation is going to be about, do you have challenges with fashion and your hair? If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body Culinary, aka Kwasapeacefull Eating. I am a coach, a lifestyle coach for those folks that are interested in taking a lot of stress off the table. So for those people that I don't want to keep thinking about food and diet, I want to get off the diet whole stroll. I don't want to keep thinking about coming to these crisis moments when it comes to my health or waiting for a diagnosis before or New Year's before I get into shape. So I really emphasize a lifestyle of whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods that your cells can recognize, right? There's a part in your mouth, right? There's a lot of taste and flavor, though a priority is placed on food and fuel that your body and your cells can recognize. Why? Because we need our bodies to be able to perform for us pain free, especially as we get to the second half of our lives. So many of us, even earlier. What do you need your body to do for you in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years? The trajectory for many of us is going to be one where we're on very expensive pain medications and medications just to move around, right? Without being dizzy and falling out in the street for the second half of our lives. And that's no joke. So what is it that we can do? What is it that we have access to? So in addition to my journey of radical self-acceptance, right, is 3 leverage lifestyle practices. That's garden therapy, peaceful consumption, aka food that demonstrates that it loves you back, and also a personal movement practice, which I know for me is the bestest part of my day. Those are leverage lifestyle practices in that they give you back so much more for the valuable investment of your time and your attention. These hours, a lifetime on the internet and in front of the TV screen. It just is. Do you ever implement any of those apps that give you some objective feedback and some timers on your time spent on the internet? It can be shocking to see how much time we're spending on the internet. And if we are spending time on the internet, no judgment, in your own personal accounting and auditing of your time, can you audit and see how much time you're spending or losing, and are you getting more back? So I know for me, a litmus test is, do I feel inspired to get into action when I come away from a communication? Am I inspired to get into action around the things that I say are important to me, that are core values? Health is a big core value. Movement and physicality is a big core value, not just for health, and it's nice to look cute, but because of the way it makes me feel. I figured out as a young woman that movement, dance was something I didn't have to be a professional. It was something I could derive a great amount of enjoyment. And before I could even articulate it, I realized it was deeply, deeply therapeutic in terms of the way it made me feel free, empowered in my body. I didn't have to wait for friends to come along with me. I figured out this is something that's going to stay in my life forever. And then also, I don't have to worry so much about what my body's going to do because I'm keeping it nice and active. So that's a big part of my health insurance. Medical insurance is one thing, and there's a place for common sense and allopathic medicine. Though prevention is 10,000 times better than cure. Ask me how I know. As someone that's worked in a holistic health center for several years and sat on the other end of the consultation when folks were done with their consultation, I would have to walk through the recommendations that were made for them. So all the different age groups of people that were constantly coming in with their different issues and ailments, humbling, breathtaking. Also working as a personal trainer in high-end gyms for some years, the things that people that were very wealthy and accomplished, the issues that they had, I was like, wow. Some people were so accomplished, 2-3 degrees at the top of their, of their peers when it came to success in business and finance and working in their respective corporations. Yet a lot of times they didn't have their health, or they lost their mobility, or were a next diagnosis away from being on medications for the rest of their lives. Some people don't even consider, should you do all the things, let's say, for example, to get your body to a healthy weight, make changes in your consumption patterns, implement a lot of healthy habits. People don't consider the long-term effects of the medications that you're taking. People don't, consider, well, let's say I get nice and healthy and I lose 40, 50, 60 pounds, which I've seen. What's going to happen? What's going to be the process of me coming off of these medications, right? So in our teens and our 20s and our 30s, that's just not on our radar. We're not thinking like that. We're not thinking of some of the sometimes reckless behavior that we engage in without making ourselves bad or wrong. So a lot of our recreational behaviors will have long-term effects on the trajectory of our lives. A lot of our decisions can alter our lives and potentially the lives of potential offspring or people we bond to, and we have children. Who's thinking about this stuff? So I'm humble. I don't tell grown folks what to do, but I'm very clear. We're a species that mimics and follows. We're easily, some people say program, I like to say conditioned, right? So I make the effort to be very intentional with my words in order to keep without lying to myself and my subconscious. Your subconscious, you can't lie to your subconscious, so that I can have possibilities for change. Very, very important, right? These are like little gems. I would even say, I would call them like wisdom, which I think there's a distinction between wisdom and information. We are swimming in a sea and overabundance of information. Though you can have information, not understand how to activate it or how to implement certain principles. I know there were many things my godparents said to me, and it sounded right, but I didn't understand how to implement them or where that would show up. I didn't understand what that looked like. So it's not until many people we jack ourselves up or alter the trajectory of our lives before we get the hard-earned wisdom. So hopefully some of my flowers out there and my young folks, you can dial into your divine onboard intelligence and start to cultivate some confidence and some discernment, right? So you're not going merely based on information or your vetting process of just asking 20 strangers on you before you make some life-altering decisions. I hope this makes sense. On a lighter note, I wanted to just, are you having issues with your fashion and your hair, right? If your hair is, how we say some folks are differently abled in their bodies, right? I have differently abled hair. The tutorials, they just don't work. The hair is flat. I'm not interested, as people sometimes will generously want to share recommendations for dry hair. I'm crystal clear. I am crystal clear. I have no interest in a bunch of products. Zero. None. No. Because I look at the cost of things energetically to me. So, for example, I remember running to the beauty supply store trying to catch it before it closed to get this, another hair bobble, another thing with natural hair. I find it extremely stressful, extremely stressful. So as I've gone down the rabbit hole and made a conscious decision of radical self-acceptance, I've gotten surprise after surprise after surprise after surprise. So I realized, as with many things in my life, from education to my path, a lot of what I was looking for, I didn't see it represented. So it really takes something. It takes some confidence to be creative and to do your own research and to be experimental, right, with your lifestyle, so you can find something that fits and feels really good to you, though you may not see it represented out there. So I would definitely say, with life experience, I feel a lot more confidence because I have a frame of reference. I have some experiences to compare and contrast, as well as the people, I've been around. I've traveled. When I've traveled to different countries, I was always looking to see how people, and definitely where was I in these different countries? How were Afro women? How are we favoring in terms of health, security, and my quality of life, the quality of life of our children? Are folks living their best lives in different countries? So my eyes are a little bit different. There's certain things I've seen that I can't unsee. The grandma, the sound is going in and out. It's working now. Maybe it's me. Well, I'm overseas, so this is international Wi-Fi. So we're working with what we've got. So some challenges, right? So I was playing around with some hairstyles, which I'll do, and I'm not interested. I want to play when it comes to my hair and be light and free. Not, it feels different than the frustration of trying to bend and mold my hair to get it to do things it cannot do. It's just not the characteristics of my hair. So I've made peace with that. So today I was playing around with some different styles. This is one of the styles I like. It reminds me of my aunties. They had like these little vintage styles, and they had some, I used to call it the mushrooms, to get a press and curl and put those in all around it. Though, as I've studied style, the silhouettes, we have a silhouette with our own hair, right? So with silhouettes, right? And your body type, some of us are more top heavy. Some of us have a little waist and have natural curves, which you can see exacerbated with many women today doing surgical alterations to the body to get a different kind of silhouette, or whatever the silhouette is in trend. But we all have a natural silhouette. I think our hair has a silhouette. I just think about things a certain kind of way. Our hair has a silhouette. My hair has a silhouette. So I'm just going to take this down. This is my style of the day, right? Which I'm rocking with my little hat because the sun be beating down. Out here be beaten down. That is ebonics. And I'm going to make an effort to be more conscientious about working with the sun, as I'm out in the sun a lot. And I don't like to wear a lot of chemicals. Then I can put the hat on. I'm just going to put something little on here for the hair. So I was playing around with some styles today, and this was one of them. So I'm going to deconstruct it because that's how I learn things. So sometimes I use these little cloth holders, which are important and are different from the regular rubber bands, because the regular rubber bands can have a tendency to really put indentations into the hair. And as somebody with fine hair and flat locks, right, that can really ruin the integrity of my locks. So I'm not twisting it. At this point, I couldn't retwist this if I wanted to, right? These were the original twists, right? So these are so delicate, these can break off. So it wouldn't make sense for me to twist. These are a lot of weak spots. I can go ahead and cut this again, right? So I'm constantly trimming, or I just let it break off. So this is no twistable. I'm not going back to twist. I'm not bringing back the shower caddy. Why? Most importantly, because of the ease, the ease and the relaxation mentally, right? So I used a couple of cloth holders. So I'm just deconstructing this, right? My stuff has to be simple because I have other things to do. It's not that I don't like styling. It's not that I want to be a lazy bumpkin, right? But I'm going to be gentle. I'm just prioritizing ease and relaxation. So these are the cloth holders, hair holders. I don't know if you can see with the lighting, that I was using on my hair. So that's it. I didn't have any pins, right? And then this is nice and easy, and it's somewhat silky, right? So it's delicate on this cottony hair. There's a lot of stuff can get caught in the cotton. Oh, that feels good. And there's no oil, so I can put my hands in my hair freely. It has a little bit of length now. So this is what I'm styling. Also earlier today, my styling product was water. I'm be honest with you, that's how I'm getting down a lot of times. Very, very easy. I'll just take some water. Now I do have aloe juice. I need to make some more. I have the nopales. I have several herbs inside of the garter that I will pull for hair for moisture. And usually things that I can eat, those are the things that go on my skin and next to my precious brain. I don't know about y'all. I had my scalp covered with burns from a no-lie relaxer, which that was extremely traumatizing. You couldn't pay me to put, that's just me. Somebody else may not have had that experience. And then also from my experience working in a holistic health center and what the research I've come across around tumors and cysts. Male counterparts are over 80% with prostate cancer. And women, I'm seeing women 50 fibroids and tumors, 25, 30. Not zero interest in putting dangerous chemicals right near the brain in the control center. You'll have to find your own path and prioritize what is important to you. So prevention is so much better than scrambling and cure, because health is cultivated just like disease. Disease is cumulative. The habits that we have through puberty and through different phases of life, years and years and years of primarily recreational eating without really giving any credence to the cells or the immune system or the gut until we've received a diagnosis, and then we're scrambling. And just from what I've seen, it doesn't work like that. So that has been enough to help me set me on the straight and narrow. So today I just use water. That's it. And so my hair's a brown color. There's nothing in it. This may be one of my thicker locks. Maybe I have 30, 31. So the styles that I'm wearing, and maybe I'll post some pictures because I swear I won't, maybe accidental, creative. That's how most of the styles that I come up with, they don't take not even 5 minutes. I find it that stressful. It's too much. It's just not what I want to prioritize my time. I prioritize my movement practice. I want to jump some rope. I want to lay on the floor with the bunnies. I want to go play with food at the market. Hours and hours ahead. Just the very thought of it sounds very stressful. It can bring anxiety. So this is very, very freeing. So let me know in the comment sections, are you having any challenges with your hair? If we're honest, I think there are many women that are considering and I've observed, we panic around the thought of balding, right? My hair from braids that were too tight, it doesn't grow all the way back here because it was so tight. I have blisters. My hair's already fine. It can't take a lot of handling. It was so tight. I had blisters in my scalp. I was putting ice cubes and Vaseline. Came home, was like, I didn't care. Hair could go. That was so much pain and sufferation. Not interested. I can't. So pressing, done. Hot items next to my ear, no. Chemical relaxes, not even a conversation. Perhaps you're having a different experience. And now, as someone with locks, my hair is not bending and shaping, like when I look at a lot of the vintage styles, like with the finger curls, this cannot do that. I'm in full acceptance of the growing monster. For years, I struggled with finding the right products. Now being natural feels like a money trap. So I'm not making this up, right? And so the validation and fitting in, and we look, especially as young women, we're looking to the older women around us. We're celebrities. When I was coming up, there was Right On magazine. We had the Black Hair magazines, and I remember Lauryn Hill. I cut those pictures out. I have them all on my wall. Even younger, I remember having pictures of models from Vogue magazine. I had put Scotch tape, and I had them taped all on my wall. And I can appreciate folks and beauty and aesthetic, if you will, from different cultures, whether they're slanted eyes or different color skin. I can appreciate, though I need to see me and what I can do. It's very important to my mental health. I don't know if y'all can relate. I know it is important to, and people have the right. We have the right to experiment with all kinds of things. There's some people with blue hair that inspire me. I'm like, that work the blue hair, short, kinky. I mean, we're so creative, and we're not a monolith as Afro people or as humans. We're just not, right? I was sharing with someone these past few years. I have been so inspired by big, fluffy, stunningly gorgeous women in fitness, in style. Some folks that have blue hair, purple hair, just the style, the essence, their creativity and their expression. Some makeup, though, even though I'm inspired, it's for each of us to find like our own note, our own tune, our own style, even in fashion, right? So as I explore that, it's like, what do you like romantic? They talk about the archetypes. Do you have body parts that you favor? I like my shoulders. I really enjoy my eyelashes. I like my nose, which is interesting because looking at Michael Jackson, all the changes he went through, I was confused. I thought Michael Jackson was fine as wine. But then I remember when he cut his nose up and he was sitting with the Tigers on that album cover with the white suit on, with the black shirt on. And I was like, is his nose different? I would look at my uncle's different album covers and I would want to ask my mom, like, is his nose different? How could his nose be different? I couldn't fathom somebody cutting their nose as a child. That made no sense. I was like, I like his music. Why would he? And I came up on a Jackson 5 cartoon. Let's see, maybe I don't know anything about that. That was the best cartoon ever. So, and they had the nice outfits and they had the afros and they were so trained. Why would he cut his nose? I didn't understand. Who's around him? Who are his friends? Why would his best friend? Didn't anybody say, Michael, don't cut your nose? Then my son, next generation, said, Mommy, is Michael Jackson Mommy, Michael Jackson black? I said, well, you can't lie to children. I said, well, actually, son, he is, although he's undergone some procedures that I think have altered his original skin color. Some people say that he has a disease or a skin condition. See, children make it plain. They're really clear. Is he black? Because I raised my son on soul music and who is James Brown and who is Etta James and who is Dennis Brown and so on, because, you know, I love our culture. But the money grab. And there's nothing wrong with us profiting from our features. How is it, you know, no offense, but how is it we're sending everybody else's children to college when we're the only ones that have this? It's the perfect opportunity for us to communicate. It's probably one of the only things, the few things that we have to secure generational wealth, right? So if we're looking at our unique features, are we profiting off it? Not profiting at the expense of health. I would hope that just in following that, after all we've been through, hopefully we understand the principles of making sure that the things that we put out for us don't compromise our health. I think we've had enough. But I also am very clear that you are on your own, right? Well, whatever the package somebody's coming in, the integrity, the morals, the standards that you have for yourself and your health, to be a discerning customer. This is just my perspective, whether it's preacher, politician, guru, your standards and your morals are for yourself. So it would behoove us to apply discernment to everybody that's in front of you. Me, I'm just simple. And it's not that I can't spend money on products. I just know the feeling of stress and anxiety, it's just not for me. So I choose simplicity. I have made a choice many years ago to embrace health and confidence over beauty. And sometimes people are triggered or they find it upsetting. They say, no, you're beautiful. Though we assume we all have the same context. So in the context that validation lies outside of me, huge distinction, I think it contributes to mental and emotional instability. Just in my observation, the anxiety that it can be observed in us turning ourselves inside out and making alterations for who, for what? What is the standard that we're comparing ourselves to? So it has taken quite a while. It's been intentional for me to cultivate and to literally retrain my eyes, not only so that I can literally enjoy my human suit and my time in my hair and skin, but also to be mindful that this marketing is coming from me as I mature. I want to be very intentional about enjoying my maturation process. Hopefully, I'll hold on to my own hair and my skin. I want to enjoy my hair and skin. That's a lot. That's a lot to be misshaping and stuffing all kind of stuff in my cheeks and stuffing all kind of stuff in my chest and stuffing all kind of stuff in my buttocks. Maybe I'm simple from another time. It just doesn't seem, it's like bodybuilding. I used to do fitness competitions. And I remember one of my first competitions, I came in first runner-up. And I was like, oh my God. And I really wanted to represent the girls in my hood. So I had a big afro with a pink flower. That was my thing. I was like, I'm coming up in here representing, you know, the Afro women, all natural, right? All natural. And then backstage after the judging, it became apparent to me that I was like, this is not about health. People are scarfing down M&Ms, you know, after carb depleting and salt depleting and all kinds of junk food and pulling out cigarettes. And I was like, wow. I said, this is not about health. And then folks wanted to go into different sanctions in fitness. I was in an all natural sanction where you're drug tested and pee tested and all that other stuff. When you go into different sanctions, obviously, if you look at bodybuilders, I can't take their work ethic away from them. Though that's not what I came to it for. So, as a value for myself personally, health is a core value. It's really important to me because I've watched generations and a good portion of my community taken out by drugs, alcohol, substance abuse, which rather than make it wrong, I understand that it's a mode of self-soothing, right? If you've ever been exposed to PTSD and complex PTSD, to give folks who have experienced extreme trauma, in my observation, drugs and alcohol is a setup because there's the need, for all that mental, emotional irritation. It's likely that you'll go from social drinking to alcoholism quickly. I mean, just look at the opioid crisis. This is not the first time in human history that we've had drug crises where the humans are under so much stress, so much fear, so much trauma, war-torn areas, being mishandled as children, observing so much violence. Then it would make sense that folks would have the desire, the inclination to self-medicate. So if you look at Black and brown and indigenous peoples, it's kind of like a setup, but that's just that's just my perspective. And for us to flourish in the world, in corporate settings, to get jobs and many things we have to do. I've known of many people that have cut their locks in order to feed their families. That's not wrong. Though to create something else that you don't see, it takes something. It takes creativity, ingenuity. It takes communication skills to maneuver your way out here and also maintaining integrity. So it doesn't mean that someone else is wrong. You'll have to find your own way. And social media, grandmom says, social media is a perfect way to be exposed to that complex trauma. Yeah, it's another way that we exposed to trauma. I don't think that we're really considering the constant things, which is totally unnatural, to be exposed to violence in milliseconds, constant, to the undertone of messaging. Maybe are there any folks that are in advertising out there that understand the science of what the story they're being told is not necessarily the undertone of the message, right? For example, you can be looking at pictures of bright, smiling, shining faces running across open fields, but that may not be the message that is being put out to you. There's a direct message. There are teams and focus groups that get together to decide how to push this particular product, what demographic to push this product to. And there can actually be messages of you will not be chosen if you don't have this product. Or if you would like to be chosen, you need to get this product. If you want to be able to get out of your economic situation through basketball, then you need these sneakers that are going to make you jump higher like this athlete. So the study of the human psyche, we don't usually come out of school graduating with several degrees, really understand our own psyche, let alone our own physiology. So bringing this back to the fashion, having a lifestyle of ease and relaxation that you have access to. And by access, I mean wherever you pay rent or mortgage, wherever you reside, whatever your spending plan, if you're single or you have children, to have access to what is deeply therapeutic to you, what makes you feel good without there being a conflict of interest that's compromising your mental and emotional health. So I have found, though, many people will consider this ugly. Or how can you come on camera without makeup? Fix your hair. Back in the day, they say comb your hair. Comb your hair. So I have cousins I grew up with that are Rasta, and that was not in esteem when I was going. They used to call them dirty ras, right? So when I think of, and I'll pull elements from all the things in my culture, and I'll pull things from folks that don't look like me either, if it works. Though when I think about the term, they say shake up your nati. There's something about that feels really good, like shaking it in the face. I always wanted to shake up my nati like a lion, but I have fine hair. It's fine. It's flat. I have about 30 locks. But to shake it up, it's like, wow, my hair feels full. I don't have to see my scalp. It works for me. It's pain-free. This is freedom hair. You can do your hair how you but prioritizing freedom and relaxation here. Bonnet or no bonnet. I don't have to buy a million products. You know what a weight off that is? And it's been a rabbit hole to see what my hair will do. I'm still looking to see what it's going to do, right? And oh, you don't have grays. There are grays sprouting up in here. I'm not in my 20s, 30s, or 40s. And I like to enjoy my time in my human suit. So is it challenging for you to feel relaxed in your skin? Is that a challenge? Isn't that wild? It's a challenge to feel relaxed. Like we can't walk outside without feeling like a bum or not dressed, or she needs to do something with herself, or being still today in 2023 being perceived as not clean if you don't do certain things with your hair. There's like no, I don't have any buildup. I don't have any buildup because there's no oil in there. Eureka. Who knew? Will you be able to enjoy your time in your 60s and your 70s? So what would it take? What would it take for you to set yourself, if you're so interested, to set yourself up so you can run, jump, and play and defend yourself in your human suit? What is that going to take? So it takes a lot. It's only so many hours in the day. So I like to strategize and prioritize. What's the most important? I want to have a good time, right? Because there's some crazy fools that might blow this sucker up. So I'm going to get mine in. I want to play. I want to enjoy my time in my human suit. So as much as possible, wear and tear is going to come on the body. You can put whatever you want in your body. Gravity is going to take its toll and it's going to drop. It's going to drop. So it's interesting in folks that are in cultures where people have been westernized, that there's been inculcated this projected fear, like a tremendous anxiety and fear around the maturation process. It has negative connotations and a lot of shaming. This is a time, when you get to another phase of life where you should be feeling super confident because of the lessons that you've received. At some point, you've hopefully gotten to a point where it's like, I'm not putting my body parts and my economics or myself in harm's way. That's the wisdom. That's the crone phase, which people are running away from. But that's like, why would I want to have the mindset in my 20s when you didn't know anything, right? My grandpa used to say, you're so smart, you're stupid. I was like, why does he talk like that? He said, what you gonna do with all that book learning, little gal? So why would I want to return to where, you have more vitality in your body? But there's also, I don't like all sayings because some sayings need to be questioned, right? If we're just taking everything without questioning it. They say youth is wasted on the young. Now, I don't know if I want to say it's wasted, though there's no wisdom. So we'll have the tendency to kind of off ourselves and make some really reckless decisions in the absence of wisdom, in the absence of a frame of reference. So on a lighter note, or another note, I really enjoy vintage. So this is one of my recent vintage finds, and I think I have another little video. And this is so comfortable. So I prioritize being comfortable. So, sometimes I get some little young man trying to step to me, and I'm thinking like, I don't know, but I could be your mama. No, thank you, sweetheart. So I prioritize being comfortable, and this is all cotton. I find a lot of vintage, the quality is so much better than fast fashion. Though I do like cruelty-free fashion, and I think I'm going to share in another video some of my finds of cruelty-free fashion that is fashionable, but I can walk in them. I need, like I used to call it sexy functional. More so than sexy, sensual. The sexy doesn't really appeal to me. With wisdom, all of that giving it away for free, if only we knew as young girls, and I see this internationally, there's so much that's given. And I remember I was there when you're trying to hike up your skirt and you're trying overly hard to look sexy. You can get the attention. Attention doesn't mean respect, right? Wisdom. Someone can sleep with you and not like you and not respect you, right? And there's a desperation in trying so hard, and it doesn't usually garner respect. You might get a couple of quick trinkets, yet it's not, it doesn't lend itself to emotional stability. It doesn't lend itself to clarity. It definitely doesn't lend itself to you keeping yourself out of harm's way and having a good time at the same time. So there's just not a lot of wisdom in the 20s. So a lot of wisdom has been hard earned. And so hopefully folks can get some discernment, especially my younger flowers, so that you can maintain a focus on what you would like to do and how you would like to express in your life. And also, we give birth to sons, right? I have a son. We give birth to sons and daughters. So I don't think that trifling behavior is exclusive of men or women. It is easy for us to be triggered emotionally and to attach ourselves to those who come in a packaging or have a lingo that we prefer. But there's no vetting process. I didn't know what a vetting process was when I was younger. A way to discern, especially if you're looking at a little hypnotic, a little small screen, right? There's no way to discern who people are, or to vet their character, or to vet their intention. So quite often, across the board, whether it's religion, politics, you call them celebrities, will quite often being emotionally triggered. And as I've mentioned in earlier videos on this channel, I'm going to feel for humans. And they are something for you to marinate on. Let me know what your thoughts are. The fear of illness, the fear of old age, the fear of death, the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism. Oh, and I always forget the last one. Death, old age, poverty. Oh, the fear of loss of love or never finding love. They are primal. Whatever labels you want to put on yourself, they are primal fears. And a lot of the marketing tactics, even though we see smiling faces or images that look like us or images that we aspire to be, subconsciously, right, which is where most of our mindless or autopilot behaviors are being driven by, right? Those primal fears are constantly being triggered. So taking them off the table, I found radical self-acceptance is one way of taking that off the table, right? So for example, the fear of dry hair. Yep, it's dry. Call the devil by his name, take his power away. It's dry, but it's not brittle. So distinctions can really make a huge difference. It's dry, but it's soft. Like, I marvel when I wash my hair and massage it, even with water and herbal teas and stuff, my hair feels like there's conditioner in my hair. Most of us have never gone long term to experience that. Who knew we didn't need products? It's like, to me, that is mind blowing, that I don't need. I could play around a little mascara or take some shade lip gloss and go like this. And it might look fantastic. Maybe one day I'll play in some makeup, but I enjoy my skin. That's the main thing. That's my foundation. That's a core value. I want to feel comfortable. That's my intention, feel comfortable in my own hair and skin. We deserve to feel comfortable in our own hair and skin. Are we going to be anxiety ridden till we leave the planet? That's a bit much for me. Sign me out. So sending you all a shout out. I think let me know if you're interested in me sharing some of my vintage finds. Again, I think this is a wonderful option. Again, sometimes I receive compliments from men. Oh, you look so much better than those girls with those wigs on their hair. One time I had a wig. I didn't have it long, but I did. One time I had a gold tooth right here with a heart in the front and a greasy peasy jerry curl. What was my thought process? So if I still had a jerry curl, what would be the response I would get? See, this is why I choose to embrace health and confidence over beauty. And everyone's on their journey, having their own experience, and are more judged on what we look like. Imagine if you took that off the table. We can fake like we take it off the table. So it's a process and a journey, because it doesn't feel good to be that primal fear. One of them is criticism from other people. But if you really consider, with age, experience, and wisdom, a lot of times we are scared to be judged by people who don't have character, who are sick, right, in different ways, emotionally, mentally, physiologically, who are dissatisfied with their own lives. And so we don't think about that you're taking the criticism, we're scared of the criticism from sick people or unwell people, or people who are just like me. So is that really important? That is a big part of our conditioning. So I've decided to take that off the table, and I accept that many people, this is not everyone's cup of tea. That's okay. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea that I really don't want to put concealer on. It's like hot. Sometimes it's like going on 100 degrees. It just feels so uncomfortable, but maybe it's just me. Again, I can appreciate, I love Angela Bassett. I love Maxine Waters. I really appreciate Michelle Obama. Though I'm just very clear, I can appreciate, yet what's my fit? What feels good to me so I can feel comfortable? We deserve to feel comfortable in our own hair and skin. And from that space, I think that kind of relaxation and ease can really go a long way to fuel a lot of our decisions and a lot of our self-care. So I invite you all to create a great rest of the day on purpose. Let me know, are you having hair challenges or challenges with fashion? Do you feel like we're breaking the bank? I've done it before. Most of those clothes went into garbage, right? And are you thinking of securing your future, right? Your mental and emotional health as well as your physiological health. Without that, you can't do anything. Or you will work really, really hard, get to that point in your life. Maybe you got married, you got the all the things, the house, the partner, whatever, and then, which I've witnessed, you get a diagnosis. So it's really not something, definitely not for mothers and women, for anybody. It's not to be put to, I can't tell y'all grown folks what to do, not to be put to the back burner. And it's easy to say we love health. One of my clients says she put some vegetables on the plate. She said that's her nod to health. What's the trajectory looking like the next half of your life if it's not a priority? And if it's a priority, your health and wellness, it shows up on your calendar. If you have to do an accounting of your time, as we do in Flower Fit, the About section has the application for Flower Fit Community. So that is coming together, positive accountability, posting your workout, so whatever your movement practice is, sharing what you're up to, starting your garden or cultivating your garden, and then also your personal movement practice, peaceful consumption, food that loves you back. That is the focus of the Flower Fit community. So you must be vetted, right? Just simply so that there's safety, you can be identified, the name with the email, name, you just basically have to be identified. Otherwise, I don't give access because I'm not playing around when it comes to safety. So if you don't have a copy, feel free to download a copy. If you want some clarity to shorten your learning curve around eating healthy and a healthy lifestyle and how I was a junk food junkie, how I've been able, it's been mindset to not be tempted by junk anymore. That perhaps can shorten your learning curve. You can download Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. So there are different types of shopping lists with different budgets, $20, $50, $100, $200, and the different things I purchased with pictures, as well as a lot of the shortcuts of what I did and pictures of what I was actually packing for myself and my family for food all these years, as well as I give you some backdrop into some history as to being a junk food junkie and my values around food and how I was able to shift that. If you have a lot of acne, there's Natural Beauty No product. So my fine hair, you'll see it before it locked up, which I didn't intend to get locks, but que sera. And I'm actually wearing some styles now that I wore. My hair was loose natural. So I put food on my face unapologetically. That worked more for me than Proactive ever did. And yes, it was 100%, not 80, not 90%, of Whole Living Foods and a daily sweaty movement practice. That's what cleared up my intense acne. Who else to tell you? There's also the Raw Vegan Goddess Cakes workshop and Living Passion Cakes. You don't need a dehydrator for that. That workshop is on the site. Healthy Eating for Men, because I have quite a few men folks that come onto this platform. That is also available on Body-Culinary, as well as there's a workshop, Emergency Food Preservation, right? Preparation and preservation, right? So I'm not eating cans when something is going down. So you can learn some ways to keep your house stocked up. This is as a lifestyle. Salute, sisters. We love to learn. Hey, shout outs to you, Landon Price. Sending some positive vibes. I have a picture and everything. I don't know what I'm doing wrong because I really want to join the Growing Mom. I don't know if that's your email. Send me another email, the Growing Mom at info@body-culinary.com. And so say I'm the Growing Mom on YouTube and whatever your email is. If there's so many people, I don't get to everybody because it's so many people, I can't filter. And it's a lot of people I just don't open up because I've had some challenging experiences and I humbly, I cannot manage the random energy online. I find it uncomfortable. It doesn't feel safe. It's not for me. So it's a whole queue of people that are backed up. If I cannot identify, if you don't have the avatar and then the email and the other stuff, and people haven't filled out what their name is as well as their email, I have to be able to identify people, because if we're there sweating, with your shorts on, there was already one person that had gotten in, and I didn't recognize him. First, I was like, who is that? And during the panoramic, I was teaching co-ed classes. No, those will come back at some point in Body-Culinary Academy. Though in the private room, sometimes I'll put on, if you follow me on all social media, I will rotate portions of the workout on TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube, a portion of it. If you want the full workout, come and take classes. Fridays is a community class, right? coaching, group coaching, and education. Understand the numbers on your blood pressure. Understand your cholesterol. Like we get into the education so you're crystal clear as to why you have the results that you have. Group coaching is Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just make sure I can see, because if there's so many people, just imagine. I mean, one time my Facebook was getting 60 people, 100, 1,000 people. I was like, whoa. And then the climate of the internet is like this sense of when people are speaking to you, they're very demanding. These are strangers on the internet, and it doesn't seem to be any cognition. So I'm just really, not that I'm ignoring, but I have to be able to quickly identify people. I will leave them there. Safety is it. And I really, hopefully more women will start to get. I watch to see if people prioritize safety. Sometimes it's not on people's radar, right? People like, where you live? What's your ad? I'm like, that says to me something. I pay attention to patterns. And if it's male or female, if you don't have safety in your language and healthy boundaries, it's a no for me. So just so you understand, that's how my brain is working. Hopefully more women and more men will get it. It's not personal. That's the standard. I am unapologetic. If you have no sense of, if somebody's trying to argue with me, male or female, around safety, there's no conversation for us to have. Healthy boundaries are strangers on the internet. This is why so much stuff is going on, and people making ourselves available to all kind of energies. It's kind, I don't know. It feels not. I do know. I mean, I say I don't know. It feels off. It feels crazy. People try. My Facebook says no DMs. Go protocol. Protocol. One time people had to deal with your uncle and your father before they stepped to you. My brother, when he was like, don't talk to my sister. And I appreciate it. No protocol. The music people are listening to, it tells me a lot about people, healthy boundaries and safety. Otherwise, it's a stranger with a little letter on the internet and you don't know people. And unfortunately, I used to think it was just men, some men, not all men, but also women. Sometimes the behaviors, I find them quite dangerous. So that's that. So some people are not having that conversation. I hope more people get it, because the climate is one where we can't, again, the relaxation and the ease. How can you have relaxation and ease when you don't feel safe? I don't understand how women are at this point with some wisdom, right? That means to me, you must not have a frame of reference yet. How are we so attracted to people that demonstrate with their behaviors that they're unsafe? That's an immediate turn off to me. Immediate lack of boundaries, lack of protocol, sense of entitlement. That's a quick, swift no-go. Let me jump up off of here. I'm going to the market. I'm inviting you all to create a great rest of the day on purpose, simply because you said so. I invite you to make your personal movement practice the best part of your day and part of your emotional center, so you can process the difficult emotions and the triggers that are coming at us, whether we like it or not. So check me out on social media. Create a great day. Hopefully I'll see you in group coaching, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those people that ask me for it to be later, it's not going to be later. It is early for a reason, right? We're spending a lot of time, energy, resources, and things that are not giving us anything back. So only you can say what your priority is. I'll see you soon.